first edition was 1997.
Yeah. Good morning everyone and welcome to the 27th edition of the Standard Chartered Marathon, of which 74,000 athletes, 1,500 from overseas, more than 100 countries are competing in what is Hong Kong's largest participatory sporting event. We're about to kick off the event. My name is Glenn Zhou. I'm joined in the studio with Stefano Passarello, local marathon runner who's run it more than 10 times and won it 3 times. Stefano, how is the temperature today? Are we looking at ideal conditions, or what's going to be in store for the athletes today, you think?
Ideal conditions, possibly for those used to running in a little bit of a colder weather. Hopefully the wind will not affect performance, especially on the bridges. Yeah, we are looking at approximately 13-14 degrees. I expect temperature to go slightly higher later in the day. But yeah, I would say that set apart the wind, it would be ideal conditions for a beautiful race today.
You can see the picture now. They've just kicked off, as we see, from Nathan Road. They'll be heading out, obviously, towards the Ching Ma Bridge, and then coming back towards Victoria Park through the Western Tunnel. And as we said at the start, 1,500 competitors from overseas, from more than 100 countries, 74,000 athletes in total. Of course, running the full marathon, the half marathon, and the 10K, starting at different times throughout the day. But as you said, Stefano, as the sun comes up and the temperature will heat up a little bit. Yesterday was a cool day in Hong Kong, the lowest of around about 9 degrees. But today it seems a little bit warmer, maybe around 12, 13 degrees at the moment. But we have top athletes from around the world. Obviously Kenya is well represented, Ethiopia, Belarus as well, as we get a shot of some of the lead male runners and then obviously the female runners as well.
Yeah, I don't recall since 2010 such a cold weather during the Standard Charter in Hong Kong. Seems to be one of the coldest here. Definitely we expect good times today.
Yeah, of course the course record for men is just over 2 hours, 2 hours and 9 minutes. Kelvin Kiptum. And then for the females, just under 2.5 hours. So 2:09 for Kelvin Kiptum in 2019. In the same year, Mirza Ronak from Belarus was 2:26 for the females. So let's keep an eye on that time to see how they go this year. The best male athlete we have in the field, Ayali from Israel. He's got a PB of 2:04. And then for the females, our best time is 2:19, Gudeta from Ethiopia. So we'll be looking out for their times, seeing if the temperature has any positive influence on whether they have a personal best or a course record for this year as well. Of course, the time bonus as well for this year. For the men, if they can get under 2:10, there is another $8,000 bonus. And then for the females, 2:27, again another $8,000 bonus for the women. A total prize pool of just over $300,000. The winner taking home $65,000, the men and the women. So if they can obviously win $65,000 on top of any kind of time bonus under 2:10, under 2:27 for male and female, they'll be taking over just over $73,000.
I do expect good things from Correr, Dominic Correr. He didn't run yet a full marathon. It's a pretty interesting choice that he's choosing Hong Kong as his first attempt to a marathon, being Hong Kong course pretty cruel with a lot of up and downs, and the western tunnel, it's usually the killer coming around the 30th kilometer. He has a PB in the half of 61 minutes, 61:45. So athletes like him in the best condition might be able to run 2:05 easy. Let's see what is going on. I'm pretty interested in this athlete. I'm kind of, we say, bet some on him, or at least coming the top 5 positions. Let's see if I'm right.
Yeah, it's interesting, as you say, not haven't officially competed as a full marathon runner, but you would expect he has done these distances before for sure. But for the international athletes, of the top 13, then at least 10 of them are from Kenya, which you would expect, males and females, Ethiopia, all of those countries that predominantly in these long distance events. But you were mentioning, Stefano, you know this course very well. You've done it 10 times before. The elevation, as you said, around the 30 kilometer mark, they should be coming back around the Western Tunnel. So the conditions for them, ideally for runners, a nice flat course, but you know, there's always going to be a little bit of elevation depending on where you are, and that may have an effect on the total time.
Yeah, possibly they don't imagine yet how this course could be. It's I love it. It's painful. I like the fact that it goes up and down, but for a standard course, I would say that it's pretty difficult, and it bites you. It bites you towards the bridges. You don't feel when you go up at Sigma that you're really like climbing. It gives a visual effect that you don't feel it, but your legs will at some point. And the Western Tunnel, oh, you start going down and then you slowly come up, and the fact that you go down first numbs your legs, and then you need to find strength to come all the way up, and the moment you start going up you will feel the wind. And this is like when it's approximately 10k to the finish line, and this is where the race starts. As we say, a marathon is a 10k race after 32 kilometers warm up, and I really want to see how this guy is doing today, especially in the latest part of the race.
Yeah, good shot there of the leaders. Of course, the men coming down Nathan Road as a bunch, but as the race continues, they will obviously become smaller and smaller. But it is a tactical race as well, isn't it, Stefano? You're seeing what the competitors are doing. Obviously, you need to know how much you have left in the tank, and as you say, with 10 kilometers to go, that's when it really starts.
Yeah, they started at a pretty good pace, I can see. But we need to see how they hold all the way through. Right now they seem pretty smooth. Look at that. This is definitely a 3 pace and change. For normal human beings, that would be the pace you hold for probably half kilometer. And think about these guys that they're gonna run about 2 hours and something at this amazing pace. And see how smooth they are. Perfect cadence. I see Ruto's really swinging arms quite substantially. Pretty good action. My opinion, they're starting a little bit too fast, but let's see who's resisting here.
Yeah, of course, still early days at 9 minutes. We're expecting a finish time just over maybe 2:10, 2:15, depending on how they go. But Stefano, as you were saying, you know, a normal person, to put it in lay terms, if you're running at, let's say, 8 to 9 kilometers an hour, which is, you know, fairly quick for a normal person. These guys are probably going just under 20 kilometers an hour.
Yeah.
For almost 2 hours. Whereas he said,
try doing on a treadmill.
Yeah.
The treadmill will barely hold that speed. And if you see the action on screen, you see how smooth they are. It looks like they are just walking.
A very, very efficient body movements, not expending too much energy.
start going up a little bit. We are towards the end on Little Road up here, and that's when things start heating up a little bit. But I see the pack being quite compact. I don't see anything extremely challenging at the present stage. I expect that would be at least 10 to 15 minutes more where the pack will stay all together before seeing something going on. I cannot spot our Israeli friend Ayali in the pack. I might be wrong, but it seems like the majority of the leading pack is from Kenya.
Yeah, we talked about at the start of the show, Ayali from Israel. He has the best PB time in this field of 2:04. And then of course it'll be good to get a glimpse of the female pack as well, Mazuranak, who is the course record holder from Belarus. She has a PB of 2:23 and her course record of 2:26 for the females is currently standing from 2019. And the course record for the males, Calvin Kipton, and also the same year, 2019, with a course record of just over 209.20. So again, we mentioned the prize money. If those have a time of under 2:10 for the males, 2:27 for the females, an $8,000 bonus. And even for the locals, the local Hong Kong athletes, if you have a finishing time under 3 hours, there's a 1,000 Hong Kong dollar bonus and a 3:30 time for females.
Looks like Vizune is pulling up. The other guys are probably thinking, where is he going? So early. He's having an early start. Maybe he wants to hit the jackpot today. I can really see that he's already started pushing it. Let's see if he can hold the pace. He could really determine a pretty good course record today. Remember that it's not just about the weather condition. If they will have a good time, it's also about the pace that they're setting and if they are pushing each other. Because if they stop pushing each other, that could be really, really a good day for a new record. I would be really interested in seeing. Conditions are set probably for a good record. I see many athletes are in the low 2 hours and 10, and that could be a very good incentive for all of them to run a remarkable timing. Maybe this edition 2025 will be the record one. What do you think, Joe?
Yeah, 2:19. 2019 was the course record for both the males and females. Yeah, it'll be in like this top group. Everyone's PB. Most of them are under 2:10. So let's hope they do. Let's hope they do. Some of the guys getting a drink break already.
And I see Ayale, our Israeli top runner here, that is back in the pack. And you could see, although he's theoretically the fastest runner in the pack by record at least. His action, and forgive me to say that, is not as fluid as the rest of the pack. I could really see Bisonnet having serious intentions here. He's even swinging the arms in an action that looks like he wants to attack. He wants to almost impress. Hopefully he's not gonna crash anytime soon, but I can see his pace really going up.
And we get the first shot of the female group. Of course, Kenya, Belarus, Ethiopia, Morocco, the mainstays in the top. Female group PBs of around 220. So again, the course record, just to repeat, 226. And then obviously additional incentive for the females under 227 will get them an $8,000 US bonus.
And in my opinion, they have a pretty good chance today of doing it.
Yes, yeah, so Stefano, you see them every now and then looking at their watches. They're looking at their pace. They're looking at the time, the distance that they've run. As you can see, there's a bit of an incline here as well. So what kind of pacing or timing are they looking at certain points along the race? Are they looking at distance? Are they looking at pace, or what?
Sometimes looking at your watches is just a way to ground yourself. You know, when you run at this speed, and especially when you are at the initial stage of a marathon, it's pretty interesting. It's, you know that you're gonna be there for over 2 hours, and you're gonna be suffering progressively more and more. So you just want to see how far I've run. Yet sometimes you enter a state of flow, and looking at the watch is not just looking at your pace, because right now you're just running in a pack, so it doesn't really make sense to look too much at the watch. Or maybe for some athletes that cannot hold that kind of pace, they are probably looking at the watch and saying, hey, I'm probably running a little bit too fast for what I can give. But you know, it's a double-edged sword, because you can get like pretty scared if you're seeing your pace going so fast, and you're probably saying, I'm speeding up too much. But at the same time, it reminds yourself of where you are. So relation with the watches is always something. Some athletes go without because they don't want to get scared by the pace that they are keeping, because it puts a self-limiting belief in your performance. But I would see the majority now, they are more technically keen to control performances, and yeah, with the new technologies and stuff, everything is getting more and more precise, vitals and everything. The group is start to shredding a little bit apart, huh? Some athletes are getting I can see my guy, Correr, that is pushing through.
Correr, of course, as you mentioned at the start, his first kind of official marathon, he's got half marathon time of just over 1 hour and 1 minute 45 seconds. But most of the guys you can see down the list, late 20s, early 30s. Is that the kind of ideal age for marathon runners, Stefano? Is that where they normally sit? Like obviously, early 20s is maybe where we'd see these guys maybe on a little bit on the older side, or I don't know. Is that normally what we'd expect?
Yeah, this is normally what we expect. We have very young that is born after year 2000 is Kiprono. That is the same guy that right now seems to be pushing. He's kind of replaced Bizene as a pack leader, and he's pulling the group. Let's see how they can hold at this pace. Right now they are about 3 pace, which is still probably a little bit too fast for such an early. They probably didn't expect to be so fresh. You know, when it's so nicely and cold, these athletes are used to train in hotter conditions, definitely. So the pace kind of accelerates like progressively without even knowing. Point is, on the muscle, it might be that they don't even realize that they are going as fast, and they might find themselves suffering towards the later stage of the race, especially in the uphill part. But they're so smooth. Such a beautiful thing to see how smooth they are. I think we are about really the half-hour mark, crossing the 10K. Think about that. It's already like a quarter of a marathon that is passed. Remember, a marathon is 42 kilometers and 193 meters, and it's the distance that Philippides ran back in old Greece to tell the Athenians that they won the war. And right after he ran his 42 kilometers and 193 meters, he died after delivering the message. This is in the Greek mythology. It seems that the 42 kilometers is really the distance that can deplete your glycogen storage, and you really need to keep your brain and your legs united, because sometimes there is a sort of disconnection. Especially, I don't know, Joe, have you ever heard when you say hit the wall? It's
yeah, normally around, isn't that around the 30K mark when they normally getting to that point, as you were saying before, with the marathon's a 10K race with a 32-kilometer warm-up.
Yeah, exactly. That is the moment where your glycogen storage, even if you eat, even if you get nutrition of any sort, gels and so on, but your glycogen storage is completely depleted from your muscle, and basically you have nothing else. So your liver will start basically transforming fat into energy, but this shift from burning sugars basically in your muscle to transitioning the transformation of fat into energy, it's really taxing for your body. So you really need to be adapted to the shift. And it's not easy because it can get to your head. But then if you cross that part, you get what we call second wind. And then you pass the 32K. I recently competed in the Standard Chartered Marathon in Singapore. And I could really feel like, as never before, how hard it was towards the 32nd kilometer. But I knew with experience that that kind of feeling, the lightheadedness, it would have ended if I could push through. And even if you eat, nothing really happens because it takes time for your body to understand what is going on. So you need to trust the process. Sometimes just close your eyes and keep moving your legs. And it's a lot of like psychological components in that.
Yeah, absolutely, Stefano. I was just going to say that mental difference.
Yeah, in a marathon you can choose to like attack and you
like
be on your toes.
We're in a break, Stefano. This one's the...
They don't say the distance, right? You cannot say.
No, only the time. Only the time.
They start at 5:50, so.
Did you do the Singapore one recently?
Yeah.
Yeah. How warm was that? Like
So hot.
30 plus. Yeah.
Crazy.
Have you done the Singapore before?
I've done it when I was. I've done it 2 times. The first time when I represented Hong Kong, it was my first national representation. And then this time,
Nice.
but man, it was hard. But I wanted to bring my son there.
Hello and welcome back to the 27th edition of the Standard Chartered Marathon. We're around about the 30-minute mark of this 42 kilometer race, and we got shots there, a beautiful sunrise of Hong Kong. A cooler day today, but ideal conditions for this Standard Chartered Marathon, of course. The 27th edition, the first one coming in 1997, as a celebration of the handover from Britain to the UK, and they had around about 1,000 runners in that first edition, starting in Seongsu, going all the way to Shenzhen. Now in today's event we have 74,000 athletes, of course 1,500 athletes coming from overseas, from 101 different countries. The marathon, just one of the events today, the half marathon of course, and the 10K, as well as a wheelchair race. So at the around about the 1/4 mark, they've been going for about a minute. We have the top woman, of course the course record holder, Mesurant, there on the left of your screen. She has the course record of 2:26. She has a personal best of 2:23. And a good shot there of the main men's group, the top 13 athletes, predominantly from Kenya, Ethiopia, Israel, South Africa, also represented there. But as they're heading up to the Chiang Mai Bridge, they're around about the quarter of the way there with 30 minutes, and we were obviously looking at a time of around about, hopefully under 2:10 if they can, for the men, and maybe around 2:20-ish for the females.
And now things start getting serious here. We are approaching Chiang Mai Bridge. Remember that you do in front and back, and it goes up and down, up and down. And you can get distracted easily with this beautiful sunset this morning. I remember some editions that was done under the rain, not as fun. But today is nice and dry. Really see the pack that cannot get a leader. Bisounet tried earlier and definitely couldn't succeed in pushing apart. Meanwhile, on the female side, I can see some actions.
Yeah, much smaller group, of course, with the females, and you can see one of them trying to break away. The top 13 men, you can see for the last 30 minutes, they've kind of just stayed in the pack. And then, you know, of course, we were talking before about pacing and, you know, who's going to make a move first. At some stage of the race, obviously, the pack will get a little bit smaller as people can't keep up with the pace. But all of our top 13, you can see there, again, PBs of just under 2:10. But of the 74,000 that we have today, 18,000 are coming from the marathon, 24,000 from the half marathon, and a lot more doing the 10K, around about 30,000 people doing the 10K today.
Yeah, I would say 10K is a perfect distance to start your running career. I myself started my very first race in Hong Kong, and a 10K 20 years ago, 22 years ago to be honest, and still remember. Beautiful experience as it is. It gives you a taste of the experience. We just had somebody crossing in 1:05 the half marathon, and if I'm not wrong, this is going to be the course record ever set. It's pretty interesting. This witnessed the fact that conditions are really ideal today for great times. And I see the second athlete in 1:06. Pretty good. Pretty good.
Yeah, of course, the best half marathon time, the Hong Kong record, not the course record, but the Hong Kong record, 1:12. Yeo Kiet Ching did that in 2020. That race was in Poland. And then Asian's best time for the half marathon is Abraham Cherubin from Bahrain. It's just under an hour, 58 minutes and 40 seconds, which is a really, really quick time. And that was done in 2017. But Stefano, of course, courses all around the world, they're all going to be very, very different. This one is Hong Kong has a gold medal label for this running event. So the International Athletic Federation have particular standards for all of the different races around the world. Platinum being the very, very top, gold being the next, silver, and then the general races. And of course, each of them have particular standards that they need to meet. Timing chips for all the athletes, an international field, etc. So Hong Kong, from its inception, 1997, like I said, 1,000 athletes to today, 74,000 athletes, a gold medal race, or a gold label race. So all of the top international athletes are coming here, and as we said at the start of the show, total prize pool of just over $300,000 US. The winner is going to take home $65,000 for both the men and the woman.
The pack is still compact of the leaders of the marathon while we are exiting Sigma Bridge. Very soon there will be a turning point, and I expect after the turning point some serious action. The guys are getting rehydrated, although they don't even look like they're sweating. Definitely the weather is positively affecting the performance today. It's an exciting day for the Standard Chartered Marathon 2025. It's gonna be a remarkable year. I'm feeling it.
Yeah, of course, the Chiang Mai Bridge, one of the iconic views of Hong Kong. And you know, sometimes the marathons do try to showcase the city. We know of all the famous marathons, of course, Boston, New York, Chicago, Japan. So certainly a great way to promote the city. You know, and then obviously, Stefano, you've run a lot of marathons. What's your favorite one that you've done for all the ones you've done around the world?
Well, in terms of running aesthetic, definitely Berlin was beautiful. You go through the city, it's great, it's super supported. Rotterdam is another very good one. It's nice and flat, and the views of the city are are great. I personally like very much running in Japan, not just for the views of the city or the city in general, but it's because in Japan runners are looked up like heroes, and you would see pack of people on the road really supporting you, really trying to, you know, give a word of encouragement. They say gambare, gambare, and you pass through this pack of people and you get a lot of emotions because you could see the support. So definitely running in Japan is an amazing experience. But I know I might sound a little crazy. My favorite marathon is still Hong Kong Standard Charter, probably because it's linked to best memories. Hong Kong is home for me, so running home and entering Victoria Park is always warming my heart, and it's great.
Yeah, it's funny you talk about Japan, and a couple of weeks ago we did the Hong Kong Zhuhai half marathon, and there was Kawauchi from Japan who had actually won the 2018 Boston Marathon kind of out of nowhere. He was an amateur runner at the time, so we got to see him. But as you say, Japan, they love their athletes, they love their runners, and Tokyo Marathon, of course, is one of the favorites on the calendar for all these athletes.
Plankat. You might notice that there is an athlete with the beep 13714. Usually they will be signaled with a low number, but he's coming in not as a top athlete, but he's a Kenyan and looks like he's really much pushing through. Let's see, it might be a good surprise. Bernard Kiplangat. Let's see what is going on with this gentleman that is coming kind of as an undercover. Look at Korir is behind, but he's still very much keeping the pace. Bizune, I like his action. The group is still pretty compact.
Yeah, you're right, not much movement, and as you said, most of the top athletes will have their name printed on the bibs, but we've got two there that, two Kenyan runners that just have the number. Let's see if they can keep this pace.
Kiplangat, Bernard 13714, looks like pretty good action there. I can see Yuki Ching just crossing the finish line. She's an amazing athlete. I had the honor to run with her several times in different competitions. She's the only Hong Kong female athlete to be ever competing in standard chart in an Olympic, and she's been around for many years. Her running longevity is incredible, and I had the honor to be with her in several races. I remember once we went to Osaka together to compete in a half marathon. She's amazing.
She's got all of the Hong Kong records actually. So marathon, half marathon, 10K. Her name's all over that one.
Yeah.
Oh, you see with the men still, that pack of 13 are still there. Not much movement in between. They're all probably thinking about when is their move and whether they're going to push forward a little bit more. But for all of the general public, there is obviously a time limit for some of these races. The 10K, you have a 2-hour limit. The half marathon, a 3-hour limit. The full marathon, a 5-hour limit. But obviously these top guys are going to have no problems with those time limits. So good shot there of both the male and the female pack. The top 13 guys and the ladies probably around 6 or 7. And we have, of course, the course record holder from Belarus, Mazaranek. She has a personal best of 2:23 and the course record of 2:26. So Stefano, you've done this race 10 times, of course, with the first one being, well, not your first race, but in 1997 was the first one. The course has changed somewhat. Obviously, they start in Nathan Road, heading out to Chiang Mai Bridge, and then back to Victoria Park. There were times when it was just around Nathan Road. They're talking about having the finish changed to the new Kai Tak Stadium. How's it changed for you over the last 10 years? Has it always been the same, or did it change a little bit?
Yeah, the latest addition was the Stonecutter Bridge. Before Stonecutter Bridge didn't exist, so it was it added definitely a little bit of adrenaline on a new bridge. It's not just Chiang Mai anymore. Stonecutter is a pretty good one. It's not as hilly as Chiang Mai, so you won't feel it that much. And here's the turning point. Yeah, this turning point is usually what sets people apart. You will see some action from here onwards. Usually a turning now starts going downhill. The athletes are aware of the fact that they will start descending, and I expect some actions from here. Some athletes are faster going down, some others suffer a bit more. On muscle level, going downhill might be punishing because it pushes different part of your legs, and some athletes do not like to run down. It can be taxing on the muscle level. We will see soon what happens. I expect some actions from now on. I just saw in the half marathon 2 old friends, Chan Kang-ho, that was one of my arch rival in many competition. I'm happy to see him still in action. And Yuki Ching, they are the golden couple of the Hong Kong runners, and they're still going strong despite time passes. Very good. I like to see running longevity. It means that they are preserving themselves pretty well. It's all about injury prevention. Sometimes I've seen many runners finishing their career too early, but definitely it's not their case. They seem to be pretty strong still. If I'm not wrong, they both won their category. And we are halfway through the race. Half marathon mark. The group is still together. I don't see anyone being left behind.
Yeah, you're right. You see the sign in the back there, 21 kilometers already at 52 minutes. So they're going to head back towards the Western Tunnel and then all into Victoria Park. So 52 minutes to start. Obviously, if they have a similar split for the second half, which is not that often, they'll have a negative split, but they'll be looking under 2 hours. But you know, the world record for the full marathon is just over 2 hours, 2 hours and 35 seconds. Calvin Kiptum did that in Chicago in 2023. And then for the females, Asafa from Ethiopia, 2:11 in Berlin in Germany, and also 2023 is the best female time on record. So of course, this course, the male record, 2:09. Barnabas Kiptum, 2019. So if someone breaks that record today, there is a $12,000 US bonus of 2:09. And for the females, there is also a $12,000 bonus if they complete the course record of 2:26 for the females. And as we said, Volha Mozarank from Belarus, she has that record held since 2019. So if you win the race, $65,000. If you beat the course record, another $12,000. And then if you finish under 2:10, which you will do because you have bet the course record, you get another $8,000 US. So not a bad total prize pool of $314,000 US. And then obviously equal prize money for males and females.
I don't know if you noticed, 1905,040. Anderson Saitoti from Kenya. Again, another one without the bib, marked with name. That's somebody that we need to look at.
Yeah, of course, these athletes are, you know, all around the world. They travel, they participate in events all over the world. The race, we said before, a gold label affiliated by the International Athletic Federation. But some of these athletes, they have a certain gold, elite, silver status. And as you said, Stefano, some of these athletes haven't got to that point yet. Maybe they haven't been on the circuit long enough, but if they're amongst the leaders here, you would think they would be getting towards that level as the year progresses.
I can really see somebody earning the beep today. Let's see if we will have some interesting surprise. 13714 Bernard Kiplangat from Kenya. Together with Anderson Saitoti. That could be the true revelation today. Let's see. We don't know much about them, but looks like they are giving us good surprises and they are leading the pace.
Yeah, interesting. If that is who we think it is, Saitoti is actually last year's champion, 2024, of a time of 2:12. Anderson Saitoti. But this is a shot of some of the local runners, and again, if you are the first local runner coming through, $5,000 US for the first Hong Kong runner, and then if you're a Hong Kong runner and you finish under 3 hours for the men, you get another 1,000 Hong Kong dollars, and 330 for the women. See in the orange band armbands, Saitoti, he is last year's champion, 2:12.50. So we'll look to him to see whether he can maintain, well, repeat as champion. If he finishes around that time, 2:12, again, if he does it under 2:10, then there is that marathon time bonus of $8,000 US. So let's see how many of them can get under that 2:10. Course record, of course, 2:09.20. Barnabas Kiptum, who broke that record in 2019.
I wonder how the weather condition was that year. Possibly pretty good. You see a lot of records that year being done. We are going through the end of Stonecutter Bridge, the other bridge I was mentioning earlier. Less cruel than Sigma. And we still see the pack pretty united. No surprises yet. Turning point, and here we go. Let's see who's gonna push now. Of the two Hong Kong runners. Just to remind that the Hong Kong local runners, they have their own ranking as well, so there will be prizes and there will be awards separately.
Yeah, as you mentioned, Hong Kong runners, the first Hong Kong runner coming through will take home $5,000 US. Same males and females, and then another incentive of $1,000 Hong Kong dollars for finishing under 3 hours for the men and 3.5 hours for the women. Go to add again. Who is that guy? 1911. The Hong Kong guy.
Wan Chung Wong. He's the record holder of
Wong Wan Chun. Oh yeah, he's the record holder of everything. For the half and the 10K. He was 19111.
19177.
I wonder why the guy that won it last year, this guy in the orange, hasn't got the number.
So strange. Maybe he just joined without sponsorship.
So welcome back. If you've just joined us, we are at just over the halfway mark of this 27th edition of the Hong Kong Standard Charter Marathon. And now the sun is fully coming up. We started the show in the darkness, but now we see two of the top Hong Kong runners. One of them, Wong Wan Chun, who is holding all the records currently for the full, the half and the 10K.
Yeah, he's an incredible runner. He's the guy that was able to run 2:16 in Berlin. That's, I would say, the fastest runner, Hong Kong runner ever. And together with Yuki Ching, they are two of the finest runners that Hong Kong ever produced. And I can see again some action happening at the end of Stonecutter. They are coming through. Anderson is probably asking himself whether or not he can repeat last year's performance and win again. His action is super smooth.
Yeah, we're talking about the leader there, the last year's champion, 19040 with the orange armbands. As you say, super smooth, expending very, very little energy. He finished the course, last year 2:12. So looking like a pretty good pace, because 105, well over halfway. They got to the halfway point around about 52 minutes. And then a shot of the leaders for the woman. Right in front there is Mazza Ranak. She is our current course champion. Well, the course record.
Let's see after the turning point how they will do. But again, the women are really running a remarkable race today. I would say even faster than last year. That's a nice part of the marathon when you're slightly going down. And you are approximately 5 kilometers from the Western Tunnel. That will really set things apart. Will really set the biggest bet for victory. This is when you really need to push through. And that's, as we were saying, the moment where you might hit the wall. Looks like Kiprono is teasing the leaders of the pack.
Yeah, of course, Saitoti here, our current champion, well, last year's champion, of course, coming in first place, 2:12.50. He's also run and came second in the Singapore Marathon in 2022 with a time of 2:20. He's run Kuala Lumpur, came fifth in that one in 2022. But again, another shot of the top Hong Kong athletes, or the male athletes anyway. So of course this is the 27th edition of the Hong Kong Standard Charter Marathon, starting the very first one in 1997, just over 1,000 athletes, and every year they increased the participation rate throughout the years. In its 5th year it had already got to 13,000, in its 10th year up to 44,000, and then today, of course, 74,000 runners locally and internationally. Around about 1,500 international athletes coming from more than 100 different countries from around the world. And as you would expect for this Hong Kong government M-marked event, it's one of Hong Kong's, or it is Hong Kong's largest participatory sporting event, and being a IAAF gold label event, there are certainly world-class athletes here running this 42-kilometer marathon. And of course, for those that can, see a bit of a move there.
Yeah, Kiprono is setting the standard high. And I could see Korea that is really trying to follow him. Remember, Korea has never run a full marathon, or he has run a full marathon, but he doesn't have an official record in the full marathon. But with his very promising 61 minutes 45 seconds in a half marathon, he could be definitely one of the candidates for top 3. Kiprono is looking back. Looks like he wants to put a mark on a race. Let's see if he's for real. Number 10.
Yeah, Prono is the youngest in this field. He's just 21 years of age. So you wonder whether that's kind of his strategy to look at making a bit of a push to see if he can separate himself. It's always tough to go out by yourself though, isn't it, Stefano, to really go out there and hope you've got the staying power to keep going.
Yeah, exactly. So it's he's venturing in a solo move. Just looking back, he's really trying to put a big mark between him and the rest of the pack. And we are at the point that we want to see some action. He probably doesn't expect what is going to happen later stage in the Western Tunnel, but he keeps looking back. He wants to understand if anyone goes with him.
His PB is the worst out of all of them.
Yeah, but probably just never tried. He's young, young guy.
Probably gonna catch him. Poor guy.
It's not Western Tunnel. It's not the Western Tunnel yet. It's another tunnel.
Good morning and welcome back to the 27th edition of the 2025 Standard Charter Marathon. You see images there at the start of the 10K. So they have separated challenge and non-challenge events for the marathon and half marathon. In the bottom right you see the marathon race, and just before we went to break, Prono from Kenya was the first one to make a break, but also seeing footage there of the start of the 10K. Of course, this 10K out in the eastern corridor, out towards Taipu Sing, and then coming back towards the Victoria Park. So that was obviously this morning, the 10K.
Prono is really coming up strong from the first tunnel. Keeps looking back. He's probably in disbelief. He said, nobody's chasing me here? Are they gonna leave me all alone winning this race? Or probably not. Little time check. Seems like he's serious. Let's see if he can really hold this advantage that he is slowly gaining. Just a sip of water for him, probably doesn't need much. He had a big bottle with him. You might notice how the elite runner, they have a separate desk where they can put their own nutrition, their own drinks. So they have this little advantage of just choosing what to leave along the road, so they can basically decide on the feeding strategy, which is a very important component in a marathon, as everybody knows.
So this morning, of course, the 10K in the top left of your screen, the women's finished 35:14. It was the best woman time, 30:15 for the men. So part of the races, around 30,000 athletes or locals doing the 10K, around 25,000 doing the half, and then around 18,000 doing the full marathon. So back to the full picture. We're just on the 1 hour 20 mark, and as we were saying before, we didn't see much movement, but around about the 1:05 mark, then we saw Kiprono, who's one of the younger in the field, 21 years of age. His person best is 2:18. So just early on in his career, of course, he's probably just starting out. The main field, everyone's below 2:10, so we'd hope to see him be perhaps close to that. But it'll be interesting to see whether the rest of the field will catch up to him. But he did make a break at around about the 1:05 mark as they head back towards the Western Tunnel. But a bit more of a spread now between the top. We had 13 male athletes bunched together. It was a good first half of the race.
Kiprono has a PB of 2:18, which is not the best time of the field. He's probably trying today to improve it. I could see the group closing the gap with him, though. So probably his action won't be as effective as he previously thought. He keeps looking back. It's not a good signal. And Ruto is with him. So Kiprono's action was a failed attempt. Keeps looking back.
Yeah, interesting strategy, right? Like whether he has enough energy to maybe try and spread them out a little bit, but it'll be interesting to see near the end whether he has that endurance to keep going. But we see the previous champion Anderson Saitoto just off to the left in the orange armbands. He's got that previous last year's record of 2:12.
And now Kiprono is back in the pack. And I don't know how he's going to react psychologically, because when you are reabsorbed by the pack, is a clear signal that you overdid. So now he needs to stay focused on not losing everyone, because that could happen. And we are really approaching the hot part of the game now. The Western Tunnel. This is where I want to see the action. this is where we will see who's for real, who's not. And we have Jeland Elroy from South Africa. He has a good 2:08, born in 96, relatively young. He's the only non-African in the pack. Let's see what is, sorry, is the only non-Kenyan in the pack.
So yeah, in the back there you also see Ayali from Israel, who has the best PB in this pack of 2:04. But we were with 13, now we're down to around about 10, so the main group's still there. Of course, if you're just joining us, we mentioned a special marathon time bonus of 2:10 or 2:27 for the woman. If you can get under that, then you have a bonus of another $8,000. So let's hope we can see a few of them get under that 2:10 mark for the guys, which is fairly quick. The course record, of course, is 2:09. But certainly capable. A lot of these guys, 2:07, 2:08 PBs. The best PB 2:04. We said Ayali at the back of that pack, and then for the ladies, if they can get under 2:27, they will be taking home an extra $8,000. And for the women, again, a lot of them PBs. 2:20s, 2:22s, so more than capable of doing that.
Kiprono is still in the pack, and this is a pretty interesting sign how he pulled through before. He was reabsorbed by the pack, but he didn't give up. He stayed in, which shows resilience, because usually when you are reabsorbed by the pack, you might fall a little bit behind. Courier is still in the leading pack. And we have a snap of the first Hong Kong runner, record holder in Hong Kong, going pretty strong. And now Ruto is taking the leadership. He looks like he's been looking sharp since the very start. And he seems confident. You see the way he really pushes his. I can see the confidence. I can see a half smile. They're even chatting, running 20 kilometers per hour.
Yeah, absolutely. Just effortless. You know, running at 20 kilometers, more than almost 20 kilometers an hour, and just like you said before, not even breaking a sweat.
Yeah, temperature definitely helps. But yeah. And who knows, maybe Ruto is thinking of an action, is probably thinking if he can find a partner to break through with. But nobody seems to take decisive actions yet.
Yeah, Ruto at the front, PB of 207. Kip 2 also in the purple, Dixon Coupe 2, 208. So these guys are all capable of doing a sub 210.
The sun is up. Temperature should start warming up a bit. Although we are still around 15-16 degrees this time. So again, pretty ideal conditions today. The pack is down at 10 runners now. We lost a few. But yeah, I expected to see those 10. Courier still there. He doesn't look as efficient as the other, but his action seems determined to stay with everyone else. You see the way he swings his arms? It could be a signal of fatigue, but at the same time he's not losing 1 centimeter from all the others. Let's see if this first-timer marathoner is going to give us some surprise.
Yeah, talking about Courier, who in the light brown there with the fluoro yellow-green shoes, in the middle of your screen there, he has a personal best half marathon time of 1 hour, 1 minute and 45 seconds. And then to the left of your screen, of course, is last year's champion Saito T. He has last year's record of 2 hours and 12 minutes, 50 seconds. Not quite enough to get the time bonus for today if he was finishing around that time. So remember, 2:10 was the time that we were looking for that marathon bonus time, and then 2:09 is the course record. So Ruto looks like he's trying to make a bit of a move here. What do you think, Stefano? I think he's given it a little bit of a push.
Yeah, he has been trying and trying for a while. And again, his actions seem pretty convincing. I really like the way he's going through, has been always in front of the pack, and is leading the four that they are setting off now. You can see a little bit of distance has been made. Kiprano is still there, even if his action was self-limited before. Probably he thought hey, I'm going too fast alone. Let's wait for the others. And now he's in the leading pack. And it doesn't look like he's giving up anything.
Shot there of Cuprono. Of course, he made that breaker around about 105 mark. Was soon caught up by the rest of the pack, but he's able to maintain that there, staying with the leaders. Ruto made a bit of a break there around about 130. It's certainly a bit of a cat and mouse game though, isn't it? When once someone makes a break, are they able to maintain that lead, or are they quickly caught up by the rest of the pack?
Yeah.
You see someone break, you panic, you go with them, use up your reserves of energy, or you wait and bide your time and hopefully you can catch up with the rest of them.
Now Kipto. There is leading the leading pack. Cuprono still behind. Ruto is there.
You see the two teammates, of course, in the purple, Ruto and Kipto, sharing drinks there. Maybe they've got a strategy. How much of that comes into a Stefano teams working together, making sure that they're staying together, pacing each other?
Yeah, possibly that's some racing strategy. But you know, in a marathon, you will never know. It can be tactical, but when fatigue kicks in, it's such an unpredictable action that you will never know what is going on. It's not a 10K or a 5K where you can really predict what is going on. In a marathon, everything can happen up to the 30th K. And we are slowly approaching that moment where you will really see what you got.
Seems like they've been picking up the pace now a little bit. They started, of course, at 6 a.m. The marathon, the challenges starting at 6, and then you can see the other guys out on the right at the top of your screen. Those are all the locals starting at 6:25. The second one starting at 6:50, and then of course the half marathon, the challenges also starting at 5:30. And then different batches, 7:40, 8:10, 8:40. They've still got other ones to start, but you can see the stun really coming up now at that 1:30 mark. So a bit of a break for the top 5 at this around about 1:30 mark, and then a good shot there of the women. That top 5 still continues to be led by Mazeronek, who is our course record holder. She's 35 years of age and got a PB of 2:23, but her record still stands at 2:26. And then our top Hong Kong runners, one of which Wong Wan Chun, who has all the records, 2:16, his best time for the full. He broke that in Germany, Berlin Marathon in 2023. So certainly capable of doing a very good time. And here we go, the top 5. You can see the pace quickening a little bit more urgency. Ruto from Kenya. He's got a PB time of 2:07. Of course, who made that quick break at 1:05, he's still amongst the leaders as well.
Good action of Cuprono, and psychologically I wouldn't expect that he could hold as well to being picked back. and now is really there. And I can really see that these 5 guys here are those that will really challenge themselves for the final victory. Very smooth pace still.
Yeah, of this top 5, Ruto has the best PB of 207, in the purple on the left. He has his, the PB is the fastest of this 5, but of course don't discount the Saitoti, the number 19040. He is our current, well, last year's champion, the term of 212.
Yeah, and he probably knows what to expect towards the end of the race, because he has experience playing on his part.
So they're just starting to head in down towards the Western Tunnel as they go through, just past Olympic MTR station. You see there in the background, and they'll start to head through the Western Tunnel.
And this is gonna be a never-ending tunnel. It's long, and even in terms of not just going up and down, but also feels a little bit claustrophobic, so there is a mental component in it, because it starts getting dark and you really see at some point the light at the end of the tunnel, so you really need to be prepared. If you're unprepared, Western Tunnel can be really scary experience. I've seen several runners really hitting the wall right there, because it goes slowly down and then you don't expect, and it starts climbing it up, and that's when things get scary. Keep 2 is taking the lead. Now is, let's see, probably there is some tactical play between Ruto and Kipto. They clearly belong to the same team. Let's see what they are planning. It's down to these 5 now. And Kiprono is still there. The youngest of the field today. Let's see if it would be really interesting to see if his action earlier was self-limiting, but he looks like he's got it. Let's see.
Yeah, Kiprono, you see one of the taller ones at the back there, just 21 years of age, just starting his career, of course, on the marathon circuit. His PB 218, you would think he would improve on that one, maybe not today, but as his career progresses, to a time of just under 210, where most of the top 5 here are. Ruto, of course, in the purple. On the left side, 207.08. Kip 2, the purple on the right. He's got a PB of 208. 31. And Kepieko in the red and blue shorts. He's got a PB of also 2:08.32. So all of them certainly capable of getting under 210, which will get them another $8,000 US. Of course, the winner is going to take home $65,000 US.
Yeah, in today's weather, they can really hit the jackpot here. Let's see. Root and Kipto are really pushing it through, as we are approaching the Western Tunnel. And the pace is getting faster now. They may end up really with negative splits today. And as you can see, start going downhill. Really soliciting the front part of your legs, the quads. They need to be very careful because the descent will very fast transform in an ascent. And here in the darkness, the Western Tunnel.
I know you've done this course many times, 10 times before. You know, when you're going through that tunnel in a bus or a taxi, the decline and then the ascent on the other side probably doesn't feel that bad, but I guess when you're running, it's quite a steep climb.
It is. I was actually on a cab yesterday with my son, and I was like, you know, you don't feel that you're going down and you're going up again, but whenever you will do this marathon, just be careful, because that's tricky, very tricky. And the woman, our previous winner here, she seems like set for doubling it up unless of surprises. She has a small advantage but seems quite controlled. She's not looking back. Pretty strong.
Yeah, Mazuranok from Belarus. She is our course record holder. She's got a PB of 2:23 and a course record set in 2019 of 2:26. But here we got the top 5 men leading our pack. I think they've broken away from the main group of 13 that we had for the first half of the race. You can see them just in the distance there as they quickly look over their shoulders. Women's time last year, 2:28 was the last year's best time. 2:12 for the men, which was set by Saito T in the middle there with the orange armbands. Is our previous last year's winner of 2:12 and 50 seconds.
You can really see the darkness of the Western Tunnel there. But again, as you go halfway through, there is light at the end of the tunnel. You just need to see who's gonna be capable of coming on top And once you're out, everything gets easier.
So 146 now, this top 5. A bit more of a lead now on that main pack of 13. And then a good shot of the woman. Ronak from Belarus there out in the front. She has pretty much led the whole way. You can see her was in the main group of 6 or 7 female athletes, but now making a little bit of a break, and the 2 top male Hong Kong athletes. Of course, last year's champion Wong Wan Chun, 2:23. Was his time last year. He won the Hong Kong. He's more than capable of doing that though. A personal best of 2:16, which he did in 2023 in Germany and Berlin.
Clearly, I don't expect a 2:16 here. The course is much hillier, but it looks like a promising action from his side. I really hope that he could beat the Standard Chartered record here that he himself set. It's really hard course. But it seems strong. Looks like quite effortless.
They're the first male and female to come through for this $5,000 for each of them.
We're getting out of the tunnel. And Ruto looks like he's for real. Kiprono is behind. It's not leaving anything, and I really like his reaction. He tried to pull through earlier, and then he was smart. He said, probably I'm going too fast, too soon. Let's wait for the other guys. And he humbling, stayed back with everyone. Who knows?
Yeah, Ruto, of course, and his teammate Kiptu, you said at the second half of that tunnel was a lot steeper than people think. But you can see Ruto now is making a little bit of a push.
And now we're down to 4. With Kiprono, that seems pretty convincing to me. I don't want to be wrong, but Ruto's action seemed to be affected. Or not, it's just an impression. He was just holding his breath a little bit. It's down to these 4 now. Let's see. We didn't talk about Kipieko. He was very humble, staying behind. He's from Ethiopia. He has a 2:06. It's a 2:08, sorry. And he's from Kenya, he's not from Ethiopia. Born in 91. His action has been quite silent, but has always been there. Always being behind, not really showing off. Kennedy Kipieko, born in 91, 33 years old, PB 208. Let's see if he has something holding.
So now they've passed that 30K mark that you were talking about at the start of the show, hitting the wall. The form doesn't look as fluid or as efficient as before. Certainly the sweat rate has increased a little bit, maybe struggling a little bit more. Just under 2 hours now as they head towards Victoria Park.
Yeah, they're getting ready for the big finish. Again with Ruto in first, Kipieko right next to him. Kipto has been left behind. Probably has helped Ruto as a pacer.
So top four, they're going to at least take home a $10,000 US. So 65,000 for first, 30,000 for second, 15,000, and then 10,000 for fourth place. So not a bad little bit of change for them to take home. And of course, if they can get under 210, then they get another $8,000 bonus. They can break the course record of 209. Another 12,000 there. So the winner, if they can break the course record and get under 210, they'll be walking home with around about 85,000 US dollars.
But you never know until it's done. So even if it looks like those are the potential candidates for the big win, anything can happen, especially in the last fraction of the marathon, last 5-7K. It's always an open challenge. I bet that one of the four would just pull it through around 3 kilometers from the end. Maybe Kiprono, he had the intention earlier, maybe he wants to repeat it. While Mazurnak, she doesn't seem to have any rival here. She's really storming through the race. And now we are crossing Central, Admiralty. We are really towards the latest stage of the race. I can see Shuntak behind. That signals latest fraction. And now we go down.
Add brake.
Wow, you're tall, man. How tall are you?
190.
You were playing in Hong Kong, right?
Yeah, basketball.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Many years.
many years.
How old are you now?
46.
You were born in 1978.
Yeah. What's the other guy's name? The Hong
Oh,
Kong
the
guy?
other guy's name is from China.
Oh, is
I
it?
checked. It's Qian Yu. He's not from Hong Kong.
Is Wong Wan Chun the guy in the front, purple?
Sorry?
Which one's the China guy and which one's the Hong Kong guy?
Yeah, that is Wan Chong, and the other one is called Qian Yu, the one behind him.
Well, welcome back. If you've just joined us, we are looking at the 2025 Standard Charter Marathon, and there is your top 4 men coming into just under 2 hours now as they head through back central. They've been running for just under 2 hours, of course, and the top 4 are still fighting it out to see who will take home this year's championship. And in the back, in the orange armbands, you'll see Saitoti from Kenya, who is our former champion. He won it last year. And it is all Kenya in the top 4. So around about the Western Tunnel, just as they were coming out, these top 4 made a bit of a break. And we have 2 of Hong Kong and China. In the front, Wong Wan Chun, who is also last year's Hong Kong champion. And he is also Hong Kong's record holder for the full and the half and the 10K. And with the woman just coming through the Western Tunnel now, Mezurenak is comfortably in the lead. She is our course record holder. She broke that record in 2019. She has got the current course record of 2:26.
Ruto is really taking the lead at this point. Let's see if the other guys are willing to.
Let's go, let's go, let's go!
They are willing to stay with him. Definitely, his action is for real. But if I really need to place a bet at this point, I would like to see Kiprono.
Yeah, young Kiprono, just 21 years of age, the youngest in the field here. It seems like they're also making a quick break of this top 4. As hopefully get a shot of the Ferris wheel just coming back around the central. But in the back, Sai Toti is last year's champion. See if he can stay with this top 3.
Kiprono's action is very smooth. You can see his stride, so efficient. Ruto is always, he has this very style, very aggressive, not as smooth but pretty effective. He didn't leave 1 cm behind. But Kiprono has that very light, very light pace.
Yeah, we saw him make a break around about the 105 mark, and we were worried about him, actually, whether he could maintain that pace. He got swallowed up by the rest of the group. He made a quick break at 105, but then they quickly caught up to him. But to his credit, he's been able to stay with this pack.
Meanwhile, I thought he's being a little bit left behind. Last year winner.
So
maybe he's taking a break.
Yeah, maybe this top four, the best, the person with the PB, the fastest PB, 207, Ruto in the purple, 207, Kennedy Kipyeko 207, 208, and Jan Caprono, he's got a PB of 218. So based on previous records, Ruto is the fastest of the three, but let's not forget Saitoti, who is last year's champion with a time of 2:12. So you see them really feeling it a little bit more now, mouth wide open. A very different picture from when we first started the first 1 hour. Very comfortable, very relaxed. And just another ascent there, that's pretty brutal at the 2 hour mark. The little tunnel there.
It's brutal, you feel it, but it's short. So you know that it's gonna end soon. And now, a nice, beautiful part starting going downhill. You can smell the enthusiasm of the public entering Victoria Park. It's the most beautiful part, and Ruto is really for serious now.
Yeah, he's making a bit of a push now. Caprono trying his best to try and stay with him. Let's see if he can close this gap. But 210 was the marker we were looking for, hoping they can get that $8,000 bonus to get under 210. The course record 209.20. Perhaps they're not going to quite get there, but let's see. He's really given it a big push now, Ruto.
Yeah, he seems to have a real intention to get a win. Caprono is still behind, but hey, Ruto is really for serious now. And we are really couple kilometers to the finish line now. And this gap,
yeah, has he done enough?
Yeah, it's a pretty big one. So unless he really has some troubles, when you break through at this stage of the race, you need to do it with determination. Looks like it's his race. Yeah, and the advantage keeps getting wider, yeah.
Yeah, might be done enough. 2024 was his PB of 207. And he's has the highest world ranking of 124th, but if he can maintain this lead, as now he heads through Wanjai, he's all alone now. He is going to be this year's champion, perhaps. $65,000 in prize money for him if he can maintain this lead. He's still looking pretty strong.
Yeah, he completely disregarded any hydration. He doesn't want to waste time. He wants to get the job done. And his distance keeps widening. Now he's becoming confident he can make it, and with confidence comes the speed. So he can really see no one is behind. And that kind of feeling when you are all alone leading the race, the other two not reacting, it gives you an extra boost. This little ramp is pretty nasty. I would say it's the last hard part of the race before you start with a descent all the way down. Into Gloucester Road. You enter Wan Chai, yeah, he's the top of it, and now just let go.
Look out for that time. 2:09.20 is the course record.
And we are entering the last kilometer. I don't see anyone behind. And we go. It's a 3 minutes deal now. Unfortunately, I don't think, well, actually, I'm sure that they won't be behind the 2:10 mark, but it will be close enough. Probably be 2:11 and change.
Yeah, 3-minute K on that last one is a pretty quick run, but I think he's done enough to maintain this lead. And then we have in second place Kennedy Kepyiko. So he's not going to break the course record of 2:09.20. Don't think he'll get under the 2:10, the bonus, $8,000 bonus, but he's certainly going to be the champion. Just coming through Causeway Bay.
He made a bit of a distance with the second runner, but he was very, very smart. He waited until the moment that he knew he could hold the distance, and he kept pushing. And now it's show time for him.
Yeah, you're right. The Caprona made that move at around the 1 hour mark. He didn't panic. He stayed with him, caught him up, and then at the end of that tunnel, the Western Tunnel, and that other short little tunnel just around the Tamar Park, there was a short rise there. He made a bit of a push there, and that was the difference.
And here we go. Ruto. Beautiful race. Smart race. Was always there. Such a pity for just a little bit less than a minute he could really be under that 2:10. But I'm sure he's gonna be satisfied anyway with this time. It's such a difficult race. And he's finishing very strong. such an incredible feeling finishing a marathon. And we have Kipyeko in second. Saitoti is coming third. Kiprono lost a little bit of ground towards the end, but the young Kiprono did a remarkable time, 2:11. Not too bad. He seems satisfied. He's the youngest in the field. Still bringing home a good price.
Yeah, Vincent Kiprono, one of the young guys, 21 years of age, still taking home $10,000. But there's your champion. Ruto from Kenya, 31 years of age. He finished just over 2:11, and he's taking home $65,000. No course record, no marathon time bonus, but still good effort from this top four. And Elroy Jalant from South Africa, who had our best PB time. He finished just over 2:12. He came in 5th place. And Kiptu, who was in the top 4, ends up coming in 6th. To, of course, the teammate of the champion, Ruto. And we can see the rest of the local competitors, probably the 10K. But good shot there of the men. Hong Kong and then China behind. They've been pretty much staying together the whole race. Wong Wan Chun, who is our Hong Kong record holder. Starting to make a little bit of push and trying to make a bit of distance between him and China. So it ended up being a very nice day here in Hong Kong. Now that the sun's out, started off 6 a.m. in the dark and it was around 12 to 13 degrees. But now certainly warming up. But our previous Hong Kong champion, Wong Wan Chun, 2:23. Let's see what he can finish his time in today. Of course, this Hong Kong Standard Charter Marathon doubles up as the Asian Championships. And last year's men's Asian champion, Man Singh from India, 2:14.
Wong Wan Chung is really pushing through now. He sees the finish line. He smells clearly the victory. In the Hong Kong field, there is no opponents really in Hong Kong this year for him. He will definitely finish below 2:30, which is a very remarkable time.
So that last little ramp, that last little incline. Really big push there. Wang Wenchun, he will be hopefully the Hong Kong men's champion, taking home a cool $5,000 US. And certainly finishing under the 3-hour special incentive award, so another 1,000 Hong Kong dollars.
We're about to enter the last kilometer mark. And as a Hong Kong runner, I could feel the joy going through his vein to be the first one from Hong Kong home. It's always an amazing feeling. It's a feeling that I must say I tasted a couple of times. And you know, entering with your crowd in the city that it's home for you, it's something special. And then you enter in the frame of Victoria Park. Friends and family are waiting at the finish line. Marathon is such a beautiful, beautiful sport. It's not running, it's something apart. It's a different kind of discipline. It's mental, it's physical, it's tactic, it's nutrition, it's preparation, and it's also very emotional. Spiritually, it's a real experience. And he's probably in this state of flow right now, and he's approaching the desired Victoria Park. Probably was thinking about that since 5:50 this morning when we set off from Nathan Road in the dark, and now coming back the beautiful sun of Hong Kong. And it's even more beautiful to me now that we can finally run after the suffering of COVID, not being able to compete properly. And it's nice when things go back to normal.
Yeah, of course, around 2020, there was a bit of a break. 2021, there was a virtual race, back to normal around about 2023. So only really 2 or 3 years ago, we were kind of back to normal. But certainly in its 20th edition of this Hong Kong Standard Chartered Marathon, it became a gold level road race. IAAF awarded that. So now one of the premier events, obviously in Hong Kong, a major sporting event with the M mark, but a major event around the world as well. As we mentioned, 1,500 athletes from around the world, from more than 100 countries, came to Hong Kong for this event, which really does showcase the city, and one of the major or the biggest participatory sporting event in Hong Kong at the moment.
And here Wang Wenchun is crossing the finish line. He's clearly satisfied. 2:21, incredible. Incredible time.
Yeah, slightly better than last year's 2:23.
Yeah, this is the Hong Kong record, officially ran by a Hong Kong resident. He must be very happy. Definitely the weather gave the little push. Good job.
He's certainly done better before. 2:16 is his PB, but no short effort there. Certainly better than his last year's record of 2:23. So great effort there. Wang Wenchun, the first Hong Kong male athlete to come through.
Remember that 2:16 in Berlin is a much easier race. It's super flat. Here we are talking about bridges and wind. Course is definitely harder than any other.
So good glimpse of some of the Hong Kong athletes coming through. Anyone under 3 hours for the men is going to take home 1,000. But the top one, the first Hong Kong athlete, 5,000, 3,000, 2,500, 1, 2, 3 as it goes down. So good effort there for the Hong Kong runners. And then hopefully we get a look at some of the females. The first female that should come through probably around the 2.5 hour mark.
Si Yun Chong, good job. 2:23. It sets one of the fastest time in the Hong Kong course for Hong Kong residents. Very good job.
So those you can see running on the blue path, finishing their 10K. 10K had starting times at 5:30, the challenges, and then all the recreational participants starting from 5:50 all the way to 7:50 a.m. 7 different streams of runners, and that's almost 30,000 Hong Kong runners. And then of course the podium, the women's haven't finished yet, but you'll see the top male Hong Kong runner, Wang Wenchun. He finished just over 2 hours and 21 minutes. But our overall champion, Rupto from Kenya, he finished in 2 hours and 11 minutes. Certainly after 2.5 hours of running, all of your energy certainly is expended and used up. And then we have the woman, we said, Mirza Renak from Belarus, at 35 years of age. She has done better. 2:23.52 is her PB. She has the course record of 2:26. So if she can get under 2:27, then she takes home another $8,000 US.
Clearly today she didn't have much competition. She was pretty much alone for the last 10-12K of the race. With a little bit of healthy competition she could have even done better. Little company always helps in a marathon.
So big cheers there for our women's champion. So she's going to finish in a time of 2:26.59.
Oh, 2:26, 2:27 flat.
2:27.
Beautiful, right?
So right off the time of getting an $8,000 bonus.
By 1 second.
By 1 second. Let's see if they allow her that one. Hopefully she gets that. But the winner, 65,000, and then in number 2 place, Memo from Ethiopia.
Really interesting. She could have pushed a little bit more and got home 8,000 more. But it says under 2:27, doesn't say 2:27. So we really see how the judges will interpret this timing norm.
So Memo in second place. She's going to go 2:27, 2:28.03. And then Nedi, also from Ethiopia, is going to come in third place. And she's got 2:28.15. So Belarus 1, Ethiopia 2 and 3. And for the men's, we had Kenya 1, 2, and 3. I think she might have just got there on that 2:27. So good to see, perhaps getting under that time bonus. And then you can see, as you were sort of talking about, Stefano, the emotion of finishing, regardless of whether you're first, second, or third, just finishing that marathon.
Oh yeah.
Sense of accomplishment, obviously all of your energy spent. And Gudeta there, also from Ethiopia, coming in fourth place. So Ethiopia number 2, number 3, and number 4. And of course, we had Mazuranak, Volha Mazuranak from Belarus. She came in first place for the woman at 27 minutes. We'll get official confirmation of that one shortly. And then Din Kesa, also from Ethiopia. So 2, 3, 4, 5 has all been Ethiopia. You know, Stefano, you've done this more than 10 times. You've won it 3 times. How does that feel at the end? You feel like you need to sit down straight away, or you feel, depending on where you finish? Or?
The adrenaline is so much through your vein that you're hyperactive for the rest of the day, even at night. You barely can sleep. It's usually you feel it 2 days after. The day of the race, right after you finish, and the day after is just a lot of adrenaline through your body. You feel like you're having a path of emotions, and it's again physical and not just physical, just through your brain. Like keeping that pace for that long time, it's something that, you know, your body is not really naturally used to. So definitely feels good.
And what are the, you know, now that the guys have finished, the females have finished, obviously there's probably some media stuff that they do, but are they stretching, they're recovering, they're refueling, or are they just enjoying the moment?
I think they're probably just enjoying the moment.
Yeah.
Right now they're just slowly sitting down. Fortunately the weather is now nice and warmer than the beginning.
We're in an ad again.
So now it's really like time to enjoy the rest of the show. Getting rehydrated. More and more people. I can see that quite a few people coming within the 2:35, which is really remarkable if you think about that. In a course like Hong Kong, usually it's not as easy.
The lady said at the end there's we go to 9 o'clock, so there's going to be a bit of fill-in time, whatever is in this one. Maybe they have prize giving and stuff. So welcome back. If you've just joined us, we are at the finishing stages of the 2025 Standard Charter Marathon. We've had more than 2 hours of running already for the men's and the women's. And of course, this being the 27th edition of the Standard Charter Marathon, starting in 1997 with just under 1,000 athletes, but now today being 74,000 athletes. 1,500 of which have come from overseas, and of course we had a very strong international competitive field from Kenya, which finished 1, 2 and 3, and then we had the women's champion from Belarus, and then Ethiopia coming in 2, 3, 4, 5. but a great day of running. Ended up being not as cool as we had thought, but ideal conditions for a great race.
Could really see very average good times today, even if nobody was behind the 210. It's still on average I can see many runners finishing under the 230 mark, which is a sign that the good weather condition really supported above average performance overall in terms of timing. Also, I didn't see any ambulance yet, which is always a good sign, because those years where the weather was hotter, I could see many people getting dehydrated. So, good sign. And we're having some fashionable runners here going through the end. It must be the first Hong Kong female. Coming through the finish line.
So great shots there, of course, of all the local runners now coming in. 2.5 hours for the females is a very decent time, and Hong Kong residents under 3 hours for the men's, under 3.5 hours for the women's. They get another $1,000 bonus, 1,000 Hong Kong dollar bonus. So 239, 240, doing a really, really good job. You see the emotion that you were talking about, Stefano, at the end. Just jubilant and fantastic little finish there. Good to see the emotion, good to see all of the 2.5 hours of suffering. But of course, the champion this year, Ruto from Kenya, he finished in 2:11 for the men's. And then Meza Ranak from Belarus, she finished in 2:26. So Lo Ying Hiu, the Hong Kong female. Great effort from her. The ideal conditions for the race, a total prize pool of $314,000 US, and of course our champions, well deserving, they'll take home $65,000 each for the men's and the women's, $30,000 for second place, $15,000 for third, and $10,000 for fourth. So of course, this being one of IAAF's gold label marathon races all around the world. Good to see Hong Kong having its annual event, and I know a lot of people very look forward to not only obviously the full marathon, the half, and the 10K, 74,000 people running, enjoying and showcasing the city.
Yeah, the marathon is, Standard Chartered Marathon is definitely one of the best representation of the city. It's definitely worth trying at least once, whatever you're competing in a 10K or in a half marathon or in the full. Leanne is coming to the finish line. She's a good friend. We've been running together quite a few times, lastly in Singapore. And in Singapore she ran 3 hours. So you can see in a hot race like Singapore, if now she's running around 2:45, you might see the difference in performance. She's a pro triathlete, but with a very good running ability. And let's see, she's finishing well below the 3 hours mark, probably setting her PB in a marathon. Good job, Leanne.
So just the last bits of our coverage of the Standard Chartered Marathon this year, 2025. Of course, 74,000 athletes is around the 2 hour and 44 mark. But thanks for joining us this year. I'm Glenn Joe, Stefano Passarello. Thank you very much for joining us. We'll see you again next year.
Keep running.
Thank you.